Hi, I'm Dave Elliott. Thanks so much for joining me. A lot of attention has fallen on these so-called puppy mills after more than 70 dogs were seized in Stone County. Sheriff's deputies raided a home after reports that a woman was keeping the dogs in filthy and inadequate conditions. Most of the animals were taken to the Humane Society of South Mississippi in Gulfport. That's the Stone County Sheriff's Department, along with animal rights advocates. There is a look at what happened once they got down to the Humane Society. Now, the woman faces animal neglect and cruelty charges. That's a misdemeanor. Eventually, the dogs will be adopted. Here to talk about the situation, Executive Director of the Humane Society of South Mississippi, Tara High. Tara, thanks so much for joining me.
My pleasure.
Well, first of all, establish for our viewers what the difference is between a puppy mill and what might be considered a legitimate puppy farm or any kind of breeding operation.
Well, I don't know, there's not a real legal definition for puppy mills, but it's primarily when profit takes priority over the welfare of the animals. So a puppy farm, puppy mill is the term used in our industry, and that's essentially.
Do you fear that these things are sprinkled all around Mississippi in rural areas and really maybe even all across America?
I think absolutely they are. I think people will often see high quality or a specific breed of dogs as being a quick way to make money by using them for breeding purposes. So absolutely, I think there are.
How would you characterize or describe the conditions? We heard deplorable was a word we used often. Inadequate is one word we used. First of all, the conditions at the so-called puppy mill, and secondly, the conditions of the animals. How would you characterize it?
The conditions were certainly below standard. They were living in their feces and urine. They have not had vet care, so many of them have scabies, which is a skin irritation that we're treating. But just think about your skin itching all of the time, 24/7, and not having any relief. That's what these dogs have experienced for probably most, if not all, of their lives.
Now, how this all kind of came together, apparently this woman up in Stone County was selling these dogs, these puppies, at a flea market. A, how common is that? And secondly, how proud are you of the person who made that phone call and basically turned this woman in? Because I imagine a lot of folks probably saw it at the flea market, didn't feel right about it, but didn't make that phone call.
I'm obviously, my heart is warmed by the fact that somebody stepped up and said there's something that's probably not right about this. Someone that we spoke to said that the conditions of her stall at the flea market were questionable, and so they felt like that there may be some question going forward. I think we need more stringent regulations, ordinances, laws, and it can be done. Put those in place so that we have some specific guidelines. Our current state statutes there's no mention of commercial breeders. There's no limit to the number of animals that can be housed on one property or by an individual or business.
What about the fact that the cruelty law is just a misdemeanor? Do you think that needs to be changed?
Absolutely. Now, and there's simple cruelty and there's aggravated cruelty as defined by the Mississippi state law. And simple cruelty, well, in either case, I think one of the things that I would like to see changed is, just in this situation, there were 74 dogs, but she was charged only with one count.
It's not per animal.
No. So the way the law reads is more than one count or one instance of animal neglect or cruelty will only count as one count if it all happens at the same time.
Whether they have 2 dogs or 200
right.
dogs. Before we run out of time, a lot of caring people here in South Mississippi. I know you had volunteers show up at your facility. What's eventually going to happen to these dogs?
Well, we are, next week they're going to start being spayed and neutered. We've got some that are having some specific health issues being addressed by other independent veterinarians. So we're hoping to have them all ready for adoption toward the end of next week.
All righty, from the Humane Society of South Mississippi, where they're always doing great work, Executive Director Tara High, thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it. And don't forget, we encourage you to comment on all of our stories. You can do that on our website, including Facebook. All you have to do is go to WLOX.com, leave your opinion, then look for your comments on WLOX News.